Welcome back again to this channel, Wonders of Disability. I am so happy and excited to be back here again with part 8, my journey with disability. As you know, I honor people with color, and I'm going to honor a woman by the name of Edith Evelyn Simon, and this woman is my late grandmother on my father's side, and she was born and raised in Panama. And before she got married and had children, she had the opportunity to travel to Jamaica, and she was a captain working at the Salvation Army, and there she met Marcus Garvey. And for those who do not know who Marcus Garvey is, he was an African Jamaican who was a political activist, and he fought for African descendants to go back to Africa and claim Africa as their country. And he also did a lot of other things to uplift the African communities. So, when my aunt shared this information with me a couple of years ago, I was so excited to hear this information. And it's so important for us to know who our ancestors are, and to share this information with our children, with our grandchildren, so that we can know and they can know who they are, because it's in our bloodline. So with that said, I'm going to recap with what I was discussing on the last video. I discussed about trauma and depression and anxiety, and I want to continue to talk about depression from a more personal perspective. As you know, I shared in the previous video that I was born and raised in the South Bronx, and I grew up during the time in the 80s when crack cocaine hit the communities. And when I was about 12 years old, my mom and my dad, they split up, and my mom took me and my sister, and we moved to Brooklyn in my aunt's house in the area of Bushwick. And we left one traumatic situation, and we ended up in another traumatic situation. And during that time, I really fell deep into depression, and I started hanging out with people who I didn't know at that time that they were not part of my tribe. And I started experiencing smoking marijuana, drinking alcohol, smoking cigarettes. I started engaging into sexual activities. I lost my virginity at a very young age, and I started partying, and I started really abusing alcohol and marijuana, and it went all the way into my adulthood years, and I fell more into depression. And even though I was depressed, I was still functional. I had my daughter at the age of 19, so I had to take care of her. I had to work. I was still in school. But the depression did not go away, and I really didn't get any help from a therapeutic perspective. And when I became 33, I became a Christian, and when I started applying the biblical principles into my life, that's when I was able to stop smoking marijuana and drinking alcohol and smoking cigarettes completely. And I also became abstinent for 8 years until I got married. But during my abstinence and during that time, what I did not do was self-love. I did not do self-forgiveness. And I noticed that during my healing process that I didn't deal with certain traumatic events that happened to me in my past, because it kept coming up in my present situation. And merging that as being an educator, when I go into the homes and I'm working with families and I'm working with children, what I'm really seeing is trauma. I'm seeing intergenerational trauma. I'm dealing with environmental traumas, and that is really why children are really dealing, from my thesis and from my perspective, what I'm seeing, why children are dealing with autism and some emotional disabilities is due to some of the traumas that children are experiencing. So that is why I believe, as a parent, it is so important to get on the path of healing so that we won't pass down these traumas to our children, and also merging that from a functional nutritional perspective. It's believed to that children who have autism, that if we change their diets, that autism can be reversed. And coming from scriptures, it's also said to be in scriptures that, plants and herbs can heal us emotionally. It can heal us physically. It can heal us spiritually. And it's so important for us to know these methods and start applying these methods to our lives as parents, so that we can pass down these perspectives and these methods to our children, so that they can be on the path of healing, and that the next generation can be on the path of healing. So I want to continue to talk about this in the next video. And so I'm going to stop here. And guys, if you have any comments, please leave a comment. If you have any questions, please leave a comment or your questions in the comment section below. And if you did not subscribe to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share these videos. And until then, I'm sending my peace, love, and blessings. And most importantly, don't forget to love yourselves the way God loves you. See you real soon. Thanks for listening.